start now? I think it's 5 o'clock.
Happy evening, my friends. This is your sales mentor, Dr. Arunaagiri, once again with the 32nd episode of our podcast called Sales Mastery is equal to Life Mastery. Friends, as in the last 31 episodes, we have tried to touch upon various aspects of mastery of sales and also some of the life skills in order to help young entrepreneurs to really get an insight and those nuggets of wisdom from experienced, proven professionals, business persons, and legendary individuals from across India and abroad to enable you to firsthand listen to them and learn from them. Friends, today I'm extremely happy to have with me my friend and an associate who has been who I've been knowing for the last couple of months. In fact, I had a very good opportunity of interacting with him just last month in his enterprise. I had the opportunity of facilitating one of our signature programs called 10X Sales Booster. This gentleman, friends, as you all know, is a 25-year veteran in marketing and sales. And he has had a consistent growth in his career and he has proved his mettle both in India and abroad, and currently holds the very, very prestigious post of being a president of business development with this international company called Thermopots Private Limited. He's based out of Hyderabad, and he's an engineer and an MBA by qualification. And it's my honor and pleasure to welcome my friend, Mr. Manoj Kumar, for today's 32nd episode of the Sales Mastery Show, which we are focusing on the topic called as the art and the science of technical selling. So Manojji, welcome, sir, for our podcast and for the chat show.
Happy evening, Mr. Arunaagiri and the team who are watching. And thank you for having me on this chat show. I would be really happy to share what little experience I have about my sales and marketing career across the last 25 years. Yes.
Absolutely, Manoj. It's a pleasure and honor, and thank you very much for taking out that valuable time from your busy schedule and sharing your experience, your expertise, especially on the subject of technical selling, which is very, very important because this is an area which, especially in today's India, where India is becoming a manufacturing hub, and there are a lot of multinational companies and investors from all over the world are investing in a lot of manufacturing units. I think all the young entrepreneurs who are going to interact with these manufacturing units, and also the young graduates who are going to take up the career of marketing and sales in these various high-tech companies, I think your input or your sharing would be definitely useful, Manoj. But the first thing which came to my mind, when I was going through your very impressive bio sheet, was that, right from 1997, when you entered into the sales and marketing field, you have had a consistent growth. You started off as a senior engineer, and today you're occupying a very, very responsibility of being a president marketing or global marketing, as I would say. So I want to learn, as I always ask all the highly accomplished people and the guests to come over here, what has been the secret sauce of your success, Manoj bhai?
Yeah. See, one thing is, as you rightly said, if you see last 25 years, I have spent in the same organization. That is something, one more thing you can add there.
Yeah.
Like when I started with this company, it was Thermopads at that time, part of Thermo Group, and we were doing about 60 crores turnover. And today, after 25 years, we are doing almost 1,500 crore turnover, and we have become a big group. So one reason what kept me 25 years in this and what gave me the growth was the opportunity what the company also provided, that they were venturing into new domains, and they were they were always adding new products, new technologies. We were venturing into new markets. So there was always opportunities and challenges that presented itself in front of me, I should say, for one thing. And second thing, I was open to take up those challenges, new challenges, and get into new markets and try to grow those new markets. So that was where I was willing to take those challenges. And those challenges became an opportunity for me, actually, to be honest. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. I can say 85% of your success depends upon your mindset.
Yeah.
What I can see is, first of all, foremost point is, they say, loyalty and, being loyal to the group, which gives you an opportunity, something very important. Rolling stones do not always gather moss, as they say. And your career growth is an indication where, when you work hard, and as you very rightly said, when you're ready to go beyond your comfort zone and take up every challenge comes in your way, and thereby you automatically accelerate your growth. How important is the mindset or attitude in a person's growth, be it an young entrepreneur or the new boys, who finish their colleges and join any big organization like yours?
I think that is the most important thing, having the right positive mindset and having the confidence that, yes, it is possible and it can be done. Because life throws you challenges, but at the same time, life throws you opportunities. So the people with the right mindset will pick up those opportunities, knowing what challenges are there ahead. And then when you prove there, it does two things to you. It boosts your confidence to do things better. And of course, it automatically enhances your career. So that right mindset is very, very important. Yes.
Absolutely. In fact, when I was interacting with your lovely team last about 15, 20 days back at Hyderabad, I could see in you the learning drive and hunger. And even though you are today a president of a global marketing scenario, but you are still having that hunger for learning. I feel that is one of the reasons for your phenomenal, consistent growth. And I, for one, I also would like to say, and I want your endorsement and your comment on that. You have a hunger for learning. You have an hunger for being open to learning and development. Isn't it true, Manoj?
It is very true, because as long as we are not innovating, we are not upgrading, we will remain where we are, and we will not have any competitive edge in the market that makes us unique, or that ensures that we have an advantage over other brands or other competitors, especially when you go into the global market. Like when you go into the European market or when you go into the US market, first people look at you as an Indian manufacturer. But at the front end, the person who is going representing the company, his technical skill and his knowledge and his awareness about the product and what is happening in that market segment, that creates the first impression, which actually then brings in the business. Then it comes to the product, then it comes to what is the manufacturing facility you got, what is the infrastructure you got. The first thing, I think the most important thing is the person who is representing the face of the company in that market. And that person, I feel, should have a lot of confidence, should be upgraded with complete knowledge and complete awareness about what the market is. That is the most important thing at all.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, and as a leader, when you lead the way by being open to learning, by adopting that important adage of growth, learning, unlearning, and relearning, I think then you start infusing that particular quality into your team as well. And as you rightly said, personal development is equal to business development. And as you rightly said, and when you are ready to keep on learning, you become more powerful. And as you rightly said, you as a face, we as sales and marketing people as a face of the company, your open-mindedness goes across to your clients, and the clients are willing to always interact with such growing person. Isn't it true, Manoj bhai?
It's very true. It's very true. Like, see, there is a notion with most of the salespeople, which I also had at some point of time, that your sales is completely driven by prices, which it is not. It is not. If you have the right product and if you have the right attitude to present your product and show how you are unique, you can always ensure that your business grows and you win more projects at higher margins and expand your market base. Yes, it is very much possible. And I have experienced that across my career. I can say that for sure.
Absolutely. I think, you were very humble enough to say that, many of the sales guys feel that, price is the only factor. And as you and I know that 93% of your sales does not happen because of price. It's
Yeah.
because of the other aspects like quality, about your dependability, credibility, and so on and so forth. So very well said, Manoj bhai. That is very, very critical. And that's exactly what as a sales mentor, I've been trying to share to a lot of companies across India and abroad, that boss, if you are able to have the right attitude, the right knowledge, the right skill, I think customer is ultimately looking for solutions, as you and I know. And once if you are able to provide solutions, you are able to take it forward. Manoj, today's topic is technical selling. Technical selling, as we all know, refers to the process of selling products or services that requires a deep understanding of the technical specifications, features, and benefits. And it involves presenting technical information in a clear and understandable manner to the potential customers to demonstrate the value and benefits of the product and services. Okay, that's what is the basic crux of technical selling.
Yes.
Underneath it, the foundation of selling always remains. But I wanted to know, because I've seen that you have been handling big customers in India, right from L&T, BHEL, JSW, Adani, and you have also have got foreign customers of UK, USA, Russia, and so on and so forth. Uh, Manojji, what is the difference? What was the difference in perspective, or how are these domestic market, domestic selling, technical selling, and international selling different? Or what is the commonality and difference?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will share you a very interesting experience, because
Sure.
when you go to the global market and once you're talking to your client and your client is convinced about the product you got, the certification and the infrastructure you got, they tend to trust you faster than what the Indian customer does.
Oh,
That has been at least my experience from what I can tell you in our segment of market, that once because they look into, you have given them a product sample, they have done the testing, and they understand that the company has the right approach towards the quality of the product and towards the product brand, then they trust you more easily based on what they see on documentary evidence. Unlike what happens with the Indian customers, the Indian customer, when you go with an Indian product which is as equivalent, as good as a global product, maybe even sometimes a little better, but still they want to differentiate between what is made in America to what is made in India. That has been what I have experienced, but that trend is also changing. Like if you look at our political scenario also today, with people talking make in India, made in India, it's a lot. It's changing a lot. Like PSUs are looking forward to products what is made in India, which is a big opportunity for companies like us, where we are trying to get in products which were imported earlier, which we are manufacturing now and giving it. It's a huge advantage.
awesome. And in India also, you have been dealing with both the PSUs and the private sector. Is
Yes.
there a mindset between the two, Manoj?
Yes, there is like in public sector PSUs. Again, public sector PSUs is also, if you see over the years what it was a decade back to what it is today, the mindset in PSUs also have changed because of the global exposure what they are getting into. Today they are interested to go in for innovation, to go in for upgraded versions. That is actually giving people like us an opportunity. This is where I said exactly where the technical selling comes into the picture. When you know what is the product and what is the application that you can offer, what are your strengths, and you go to the PSU, and if you can convince them, there are changes in my product segment itself. I can see in the last many years, many of the products which were not used in India but was used globally is coming to the Indian market. But again, PSUs are again driven by certain guidelines. They have tenders and there are certain guidelines. But when it comes to the private industry is a much more advanced industry, especially private industry where you have the end users. Suppose you're going, private industry is two segments. One is the OEM segment, who is finally a manufacturer or a system integrator, and another guy is the end user. Private end users, yes, they are also extremely good, but there the problem is it's more financially challenging there in the private segment. But I believe public sector, with the kind of growth what I'm seeing right now happening in the Indian industry, especially in oil and gas, I think there is a huge opportunity for all. To begin with, I can tell you our group is targeted for a 20% growth this year, just looking at the market scenario here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, I'm confident that you will be able to easily achieve it, especially as India is in the inflection point.
Yeah.
And you have a lovely team. I think you have a big team. And as you're also open to training and development, I think if they're just given the right tweaking, I think you're right. They have a humongous potential for them to grow because India is the happening place globally. Whenever I go abroad, everybody's talking about wanting to come to India, and not only come to India for selling, but they are interested even in setting up plants here.
Oh, yes.
From where they can re-export to their own mother country. So
Oh, yes.
I think we are in the right inflection point locally as well. Manoj, I know for sure that, and as we were discussing, one important challenge which every young entrepreneur faces is he doesn't have a background, he doesn't have a legacy, he doesn't have a past record, but still he has got a good product and services, and he has the conviction and the faith. And you have been one who has had a phenomenal success in exploring new markets where you didn't have your old customers, but you could get an access to them, and then thereby. So I would like you to give your advice to these young entrepreneurs who may have this feeling that I don't have a past record or a past legacy or a past reference. How do I sell?
See here, couple of points. First and foremost point I want to take from your 10x session. Like when you go to a client, 90% of the time, you're talking about all that you can do, not understanding what the client wants.
Yes.
If you can spend 90% of your time on just understanding what the client wants and 10% of your time in offering that exact solution what he wants, and if you have the right product and if you can install that confidence in the client that you are capable of doing it, so it is easily said than done. But I'll tell you a practical example. Like in our company, we ventured into a fire protection detection system. Fire protection detection system is one of the most important systems in an industry because it prevents a lot of hazard. And our first project we were to get from Vedanta Alumina, which is a huge smelter plant in Jharsuguda. So we had previous experience of working with them on other projects. So I was interested with that responsibility. So what we did, we hired the best people from the market. We got some good talent. Then they trained us on what is fire protection requirement. Then we went to the client. We understood what his requirement was, and we could, at the end of it, we could offer him some solutions which he was not even thinking about. So, and then he gave us an opportunity to do a first job, which was about 15 crore without having a previous reference.
Right.
Because he got convinced with our technical capabilities, what we were capable of. He saw that we had the infrastructure, and he saw our expertise in handling some other package in the same industry. This is just an example. I mean, one way of doing it to say that it is possible to do, and it's always not that you should have a proven track record for you to establish yourself into the market.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, as you rightly said, we always say that trust cycle starts with, agree, deliver, assure, and then explore. So
Yes,
the cycle of
correct.
trust cycle. And as I could see from your sharing of, very brilliant sharing of your own live example, it's very important for every sales guy to ensure that whatever you promise, you are able to deliver. You are stand by your product and services and give that assurance to your customer that come what may, you're there behind him.
Yes.
And once if you are able to achieve that trust, I think that's going to be a huge advantage. So, Manoj, I want to ask you this: how important and is a trust factor, and how should young entrepreneurs or young sales and marketing guys work towards achieving that the important commodity in business called as trust?
Yeah, see, that is, as you know from your experience also, that when coming to this achieving trust of the customer is always a learning process. Even today, I'm learning from our experiences, because we tend to interact with so many different people from different parts of the world. But basically, I mean, basic one, two things I will tell you which helps in developing trust. First and foremost thing, to show up on time. You
Yeah.
value your customer's time and show up on time for a meeting. That is very, very important. Second, don't make any commitments that you cannot deliver.
Yeah.
If you cannot deliver, say you cannot deliver, you will find business somewhere else, but never make a commitment that you cannot deliver. And third, and most importantly, once you have made your commitment, you ensure that that is delivered even before time, even maybe 10% better than quality what you had committed to the client. And once you do that, then he really wins your trust. And from there, every business that comes from him, he will surely check with you whether you're interested in taking it or not before he goes to anybody else. I mean, this is the mantra that's actually worked for me, I can tell you over all these years.
So very well said. Valuing the time, always being in integrity, as we rightly said, and then of course, promise less and deliver more, and manage expectations. Brilliant. I think this is a very, very important points which you have highlighted. And I think if every young entrepreneur, or for that matter, any youngster who's building up his career, be in service or in business, needs to really take over this and then thereby take it to the next level. So thank you very much, sir. This has been really good, and I really appreciate your pointing out this. So the next point, Manoji, which I wanted you to share with us, is this about in your career. You have faced many challenges, and you have always come out on top in terms of achieving your target. Even last year, as you were sharing with me, you could achieve your target, and you always take challenging targets. So I wanted you to give me this thing in terms of personal productivity. Personal productivity. How do you work on yourself? How do you keep on improving because market is having a lot of challenges. You'd also appreciate that we have increasing competition. Okay, customers, they become more demanding, but in spite of that, as a dynamic organization, it is very important for us to keep pace with them, adapt to them, and still keep on producing solutions for them to keep them extremely happy. So what is your advice to the young entrepreneurs or the youngsters, how to keep up your personal productivity high?
Yeah. So this thing happens basically in two categories. One category number one is where you have a certain set of products. You're always looking at new markets, venturing into new markets, trying to explore new markets and look for new opportunities. This is one way of doing it. Second way of doing it is with you keep growing with your existing customer. Now, especially when you're working with big groups, now you start with them with one product and you have a basket. You have lots to offer. So the more the time you spend with your client, you understand your client's various applications, various requirements, and then you see where you can associate with your client on various different products and grow with that. So basically, it's on. And the third thing is, as the company where you work in, or you're as an entrepreneur, you should have a very strong R&D.
Yes.
Willing to continuously improve your product, and within that same line, how you can expand your production and get into new products. Ultimately, to succeed in the market, or you need to have at least one USP, which is a USP which is specifically for you in whichever segment you are in. And as a front-end salesperson, I would always say you need to have your eyes and ears open when you're with your clients or when you're looking into new markets.
Brilliant. I think you said it very well. Ultimately, we always know that the repeat sale is what gives you profit, and you need to continuously work on increasing the wallet share of from your customer. And as we discussed earlier on in our interaction in our training program, 78% of the salespeople don't go to their old customers, and they keep on jumping from one new customer to the next new customer without actually unleashing the full sales potential of the existing customer. Very well said, sir, because this is where many of the companies don't make profit. But I when I was going through your profile, I always saw many places you have been taking the responsibility for recovery. You were always taking responsibility for return on investment. And that's why I also, like you, believe in that's why even our training programs are called as 10x profitable sales. Manoj, how important is this understanding in the salespeople about need to generate growth, profitability, and cash flow?
It is the most important. It is the most important aspect, because your business is going to survive in the long run only based on that.
Yeah.
It's at most important to understand what is the importance of continuous growth and ensuring a profit, cash flow, and ensuring profitability is what ultimately will take your organization forward. Because see, just increasing business, increasing turnover, that anybody can do. Any salesperson can go into the market and bring in business. But the point is, how do you bring in profitable business, and how you expand your product range? See, even for the company to take up a new product or a new segment, it has to ultimately come from the front-end sales guy based on what is the demand in the market. So I think the role what the front-end salesperson has to play in the growth of our organization, both in terms of product-wise and in terms of profitability-wise, is huge.
Absolutely. You said it, sir, because ultimately sales guys are meant to get the revenue, income, and profit for the company. And if they are not able to do that, if somebody has to, a product costing 10 rupees, if you want to sell it 8 rupees, anybody can sell it. But
Yes.
a product at rupees 10, if you are able to sell it at about 20, 15 rupees, 20 rupees, then that's where we are able to contribute to the top line and the bottom line of the company, and thereby ensure that the company sustains. Manoj, one more thing I wanted to share about technical selling. I think I have also seen in your experiences that you have been instrumental in getting product approval, organization approval from many international companies, and also in many of the national companies, national leading companies. So I for one believe that technical selling aspect, or having a mastery over your technical knowledge, features and benefits, and the intricacy of the product is very important. I'm sure that would have been one area where your technical selling skill has been of a huge importance. Your comment on that?
Yes, absolutely sure. Absolutely, I fully agree with what you're saying. The point is, see, now for me, I mean, our company, ours is a completely industrial selling. We are providing industrial selling solutions, especially in India and in the Middle East. So it is important there. The most important point is you get into the vendor list of the customer, because only then you start getting your inquiries, and that happens when. For that, you need to be working with the consultants who prepare the specifications. You go work with them very very closely. And when you work with these consultants, you need to be absolutely sure about what you're offering, what your specification is. Are you meeting the requirements? Have you understood the codes and standards of the business area where you're venturing into? So it is, I think, utmost important for people to understand where when they're going into a country with a product, what does the regulation calls for, what is the requirement? Because unless you understand all those details, you will not be able to do a proper selling, or you will not be able to do a proper vendor registration. That is where the technical selling part, as I was telling initially, is very, very important, because if you're not technically strong, and in the first meeting, if you're not able to push through the agenda what you have come into, maybe sometimes it can happen that you may not get a second opportunity.
Absolutely. In fact, totally. In fact, as we normally talk in the sales training parlance, the 6 cylinders of knowledge are important. Knowledge about the economy, knowledge about the industry, knowledge about the company, knowledge about the product and services, the selling skill, and the attitude. All the six cylinders of knowledge all together come towards, and I would say even in technical selling, even in the industrial technical selling, these aspects are important. And as they are all dynamic knowledge, not information, so that has to be upgraded. And it is upon each salesperson to take that initiative and keep on upgrading, as you rightly said, on all these 6 cylinders. Manoj, your comment on this?
Yeah, I fully agree with I fully agree with what you're saying, because I mean, along with having the positive attitude, if you are not upgrading your knowledge and your skill, again you will not grow. As you rightly said, on all the 6 cylinders, we need to be continuously working and upgrading our skill and knowledge, which will ultimately lead to the results what we always desire.
And absolutely. And then this is what exactly many of our sales and marketing professionals need to realize. And that's where the continuous training and development process is hugely important. Manoj, one more thing I've seen from your experience was that your participation in international exhibition, okay, even in Indian and international exhibition, and you have attributed almost 30% growth to the participation here. Here again, participating in exhibition again is one of specialized skill where again technical selling comes handy, or as we say, the 6 cylinders of knowledge comes very, very handy for you to be effective in utilizing that particular forum or leveraging that forum in order to improve your sale. So your experience on participation in exhibition and your do's and don'ts for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a. I've had by now I would have done globally about 40 to 50 exhibitions.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been a great experience. Every time I go into an exhibition, it is an opportunity not only for us to expand our markets, meet with our clients, meet new clients. More than that, it gives you an opportunity to see globally where you are standing among your competitors and your customers. Yeah. Especially when you go for the global exhibitions, it really, because you find your international, I will not say competitors, your international friends also participating there, and you will really get a truth check of where you are and what, like certain exhibitions which I was participating 15 years back to when I'm participating today. 15 years back, I used to be standing outside my stall expecting people to come. Today, I don't have time to go outside my stall because people are in. Yes. That is what this exhibition does to you. And then when you're there continuously participating in an exhibition, people see that, customers see that, okay, then that becomes the biggest brand value for the company actually. They recognize, okay, come this exhibition, Thermopax is going to be there, or Thermocables is going to be there. And that adds in a big way to the brand value. But again, certain things that we need to be very, very careful about when it comes to exhibition, which people don't take much attention to, because again, we are coming from India and participating in a global exhibition. We should be very careful about the kind of stall we design, the quality of the product we keep, the kind of people who are there, because that is, we are actually building a brand image there in that exhibition. It's a make or break thing during that, and I feel it's a huge opportunity. It's you have to identify based on your product the right place and the right exhibition, and it's a huge opportunity.
Huge amount. Manoj, they normally say, there are three phases for exhibition participation: pre, during, and post.
Yes.
And it's been my experience that, post exhibition, the follow-up aspect becomes very, very important. Follow-up,
Absolutely.
follow-up, follow-up. So what has been your strategy of following up and then converting that leads to sale and revenue?
Absolutely. You actually nailed it, because going to the exhibition and then you get a lot of inquiries, and then how you follow up on those inquiries and convert them. Like we have had, I can tell you one thing, we have had, let's say, about 30% of our major clients whom we met in exhibitions.
Oh.
Yes. It's been after that the persistent follow-up and the visits to the customers, sending them samples, continuous interactions, having calls. And as I told you, with all these, especially Europe customers, once they rely on you, thinking that they can depend on you in terms of the quality of the product you can provide and the quality of the service you can provide, then the rest of it becomes easy till you close. It's up to you close your first sale. Then it becomes much easier. So I can say that 30% of our clientele we have met during these exhibitions, and it's been very, very useful to us.
So I really like that point, which you said, that once the, especially international customers, once they trust you implicitly. And then it's just a matter of, you doing that agree, deliver, assure, and explore. And then the sale keeps on multiplying.
Yes.
That is very important. Now, in terms of one more thing which I really got present to is, now with this new world of artificial intelligence, this virtual reality, the augmented reality, all these are the new technologies which are coming in. Manoj, how do you see selling as a profession and technical selling in specific, which is the topic for today, evolving or changing?
I think artificial intelligence is going to play a big role as we move ahead in our, not only in our business, but I think even in our livelihood as well. But talking specifically on the business side, yes, in terms of now you see the quality of the presentations that come. It's all changed a lot because of the presence of this artificial intelligence, and I think it's going to be a huge factor going forward. But then I don't think artificial intelligence is a substitute to mindset and your own mindset and your own skills. What is basically your skill and your mindset, I don't think any artificial intelligence can replace.
So very well said, because ultimately at the end of the other side is a human being. And I was recently writing my 6th book, and Manoj, your point came up. There are going to be 3 skills which are not going to be ever overshadowed by the technology. One is your human skill or personal skill, how to interact with human beings. Second one is selling skill, and third one is your ability to prioritize and focus on the 20% of your critical elements, which gives you 80%. So these are 3 things which are going to be unsubstitutable by even any advancement of technology.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I fully agree with you.
And all these 3 skills are learnable skills and trainable skills, and human beings have to learn it. In fact, one of my endeavors have been as a trainer, a coach, mentor for the last almost 3 to 4 decades. Unfortunately, many of our educational institutions don't teach how to build relationship, how to influence or sell to people, and how to even prioritize. Many of these life skills are not taught. So your advice to young entrepreneurs, your advice to young boys and girls who are entering into the job market?
Before I answer that question, I will just tell you, I was in a premium institute. I'll not take the name of the institute. I was taking a session on challenges faced by the international markets. This was during just post-COVID and that, Russia-Ukraine crisis time. And I was taking this session. It was a 1.5 hour session. So during the session, I kept on asking students, okay, I want you to ask me a few questions. And then the session got over. After the session got over, then I told them, okay, now please come up with your questions. And nobody was coming up with any questions. And then later on, I said, all of you are going to be failures going out into the market. And then people started interacting. I mean, that really shows the quality of education. I'm talking about a premium MBA institution, what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's a premium MBA institution. So, really see the quality of the people to ask questions, to open out. I think, especially with the current generation, is very much on the bleak. I don't know whether it is a contribution of artificial intelligence or not, but it is certainly going down. I really feel that is a skill that maybe colleges has to, I think, start developing with people on how they should be better. I mean, better in their interactions. They should be getting training on asking open-ended questions. They should be understanding this part because they'll understand the theory of business administration. But coming out really how much that's going to help, I really do not know.
Yeah, absolutely. So in fact, I'm writing the next book on happiness. And happiness is a equation which is given by your enjoyment with your satisfaction with your meaning of life. And the crux of it is relationship. And you're absolutely right. Today, if you ask any of the youngsters, the Gen Z, I think they feel that the social media friend is his real friend, but they are only deal friends. How many real friends you have got? And they can't even name one or two people, which is a real challenge. And that's actually a bane of the social media, which is today really taking a toll. You rightly coined it, sir. So one more thing, you also said about asking questions, be it a technical selling or the general selling. I think asking questions is a very, very important skill which has to be developed by every powerful sales commando. And according to the research, whenever you are communicating with your customers, 80% of your time should be asking questions, and 80% of your time should be listening, and 20% should be asking questions.
Yes.
And it is not that, as you say, machine gun, just ratifying whatever you have behearted. So your comment on that, listening and questioning.
Absolutely. I mean, because most of the time when you're listening to the customer and he will tell you sometimes things which are beyond what you are actually expecting to hear. Point number one. Point number two, the more you allow him to speak, the more information you're gathering. And then, like I told you some time back, the point what you mentioned, that was a very, very, very interesting point. See, like I can come now. I'm from Tamupaz. I have a huge basket of products to offer. I'm going to a customer with a specific solution. I talking to him about all this has no meaning. I have to talk to him precisely what he needs to know. So yes, it is very important to one for us to strike the right conversation, and two to allow the customer to express as much as possible from his side.
You nailed it absolutely. In the technical selling also, it is not just talking all those technical aspects, which sometimes the customer may not understand. In fact, technical selling, Manoj sir, you would appreciate, it is not about just outloading all that knowledge which you have got. You have to identify that niche, the real problem that a customer is facing, and then give him that technical detail which is going to be useful to him in the form of feature, advantage, benefit.
Exactly.
This is what I have seen. Many times people go for machine gun selling, and that becomes a total disaster because customer does not understand, customer does not bother, and automatically the sales is lost. So as we are talking about technical selling, this is the one aspect which I could take from your sharing also. The technical selling doesn't mean that you have to just download all the technical feature of your or technicalities to your customer. Sometimes he may get bored. He may not even understand. So what you need to do, as you rightly said, is to give him only that particular technical solution in terms of feature, advantage, benefit, which is relevant to him. Your
Absolutely.
comment on that, sir?
And also it depends upon whom you're talking to. See, if when you talk, suppose you're talking to the end user, he wants to know more about the product in terms of its application. That's all he wants to know. When you're talking to, let's say, a system integrator or an EPC company, he wants to know how that solution, what you're giving, is commercially viable, but technically it meets the requirement. And when you're talking to a consultant, he wants to know everything. So you want to download everything, download it to a consultant, but don't do it to a. But ultimately, who is giving you the business? The consultant is not giving you the business. The
Yes,
EPC company is giving you the business, and the end user is using it. So it's important where what you talk is absolutely very important.
absolutely. Sir, you nailed it. That's where this technical selling should be understood in the right perspective. Ultimately, as we learn in the science of selling, it is your rapport building. On the 5 steps of selling: greeting, warm up, qualification, presentation, close. All those systematic steps are important. And as you rightly said, depending upon your prospect, depending upon who's there in front of you, you have to give him that right pudi
Yeah,
as this requirement, and that's
yeah,
what is going to tilt in your favor.
very
Uh,
true.
and that's why they say that selling is a skill which has to be learned, mastered, and continuously practiced for you
Oh
to.
yes, oh yes. Because tomorrow when we go into the market, maybe you will come through an experience which you have not experienced the last 25 years. So it's every day, it's a learning process.
Manoj, one more thing which I've been telling and which I've had the opportunity of sharing with many of the top people, MD, CEOs, is that sometimes companies, when they recruit engineers or MBAs, they give them too much of technical knowledge, and they don't give them the other communication skills of how to build up rapport, how to have this communication of asking questions, or how to close, or how to have these buying signals, or how to do the trial close. These techniques they totally avoid. They say, "No, no, nahi lagega." Only give them technical information. And I feel those boys end up with nothing, or they end up as a failure because they don't know how to use this technical knowledge in the appropriate manner. Your comment on that, sir?
Exactly. I mean, because we have had a lot of GTs, a lot of freshers who have come from when I take interviews, sometimes it's so very disappointing because of the reasons what you exactly right now said. They can tell you what they learned during their engineering career 4 years, but if you then ask them, okay, what did you learn better in Ohm's law? He will scratch his head. Ohm's law. I've seen such cases happen. 80-85% engineering rank student, you ask him something related to Ohm's law, which he learned in his 10th standard, he's struggling a bit.
Yeah.
That I mean, why I'm telling you this is that problem that they are getting pumped into too much of technical, and when they come into an organization, again they are pumped in all technical what they're doing without actually learning the soft skills which which will help them to grow ultimately. Those soft skills have to be taught, I mean, have to be trained before these guys are actually sent out into the market.
Absolutely. In fact, I remember a Brazilian top international coach when he was coaching the Brazilian team. Every time the Brazil team lost a match, international match, he would call all the top players, say, "This is the football. Okay, this is the way you do the dribbling. This is the way you pass. This is the way you shoot." He says everything comes down to foundation. Foundation. The
Yeah,
foundation has to be strong, and foundation is, as you rightly said, the Ohm's law, the basic foundation, plus the foundation of a proper communication, all these proper personal etiquettes, things about how do you hold yourself, those personality nuggets, which are very, very important, isn't it?
absolutely. Absolutely important. Absolutely important.
And this has been one of the things which I've been constantly telling in all my trainings, because I train multinational companies, Indian companies, Indian multinational companies, but they all are pumping them, every 2-3 months, they pump them with technical knowledge. But technical knowledge ठीक है boss, but वो technical knowledge को किस तरीके से, how are you going to ultimately feed to your prospect so that they get the sale, which is not thought. And that is
Yes.
one of the big tragedies why uh, many salespeople fail,
Yeah.
because they're not thought about these other personal qualities like resilience, bounce back, how to take failure, how to take rejection, how to keep your emotional balance, how to be grounded. These aspects have to be all taught, and they're all trainable skills. And unfortunately, that is the area which is neglected and has a huge impact in their productivity, sales productivity, and in their performance. Okay.
Certainly, certainly.
As a top performer, Manoj, your comment.
Yeah, I see. I mean, that's why, in my team, when I have a fresher or when I'm grooming an young guy, I try to ensure that he travels with me initially during his sales calls, and he learns. And we have a very structured training program also in our organization, wherein we try to teach the guys the soft skill that is required for them to succeed in their respective fields. So I think as an organization also, it is important to have a structural training program for newcomers, freshers on what is expected of them, so that they can succeed in the organization over a period of the year, over a period of time.
So absolutely, you nailed it, sir. Because ultimately, 98% of human, especially sales guys, are not self-monitored, or they don't have a self-discipline. So they need to be monitored, motivated, measured in a consistent fashion for them to achieve a higher productivity. So this is, I said, you said, is very, very important. So one more aspect which is today becoming a big challenge is people feeling lonely or isolated, lonely. You know? And even as a sales guys, we are people who have to travel alone sometimes long distances. So this emotional intelligence and is very, very critical. So Manoj, I want your input on this. How important is that aspect as well for them to develop this in a very systematic fashion? And what is your way of managing those stress strains? Because I'm sure with a global market which you today manage, you have stresses from all area. So
Yeah,
what is your stress buster, and how
yeah,
do you manage your
yeah.
uh,
See, as for me, in one line, if I have to say, if you look at your work as your passion,
wow.
then there is no stress there. And if you just look at those numbers, what you have to achieve at the end of the years are those challenges in front of you, which you need to overcome. I don't think there is much of a stress. Then, as you said, this traveling alone, going different places, I rather think that is an opportunity for you to learn different cultures, different cuisines. So it's the way you look at it. If you look at it as an opportunity, it is an opportunity. Like you're traveling, there are some, like I always in a long distance flight, I try to make a small conversation with my neighbor whoever is there. Of course, if the person is interested. Or then you always have a book to read, you have something to catch up on. So according to me, it's all how you look at things. See, I initially when I chose this profession, I chose the profession because of the opportunity to travel. That was my first reason of picking up the profession. So I love traveling. So then when I started seeing success, then it all just came together. So for me, every travel is for me an opportunity. That's how I look at it. And even at this time, I really love. I am very excited about when I have to go on a trip. As I was 25 years back, so am I today.
Lovely. I like the way when you change the way you look at things, the thing which you look at changes, and
Yeah,
perceptions are very, very important, and which we also call in terms of empowering context. Like when you look at a thing from a right perspective, I think, as you rightly said, everything becomes really growth oriented, and you have an opportunity to view life in a different manner.
absolutely.
Very, very, very well said. Because uh, uh, Manoj, as according to statistics, out of 10 boys and girls who enter the sales profession, only eight of them quit in the first 6 to 12 months. And by quitting, they're quitting the most powerful, the most profitable, the most prospective of a careers, and all because they are not able to face the fear of rejection, fear of failure, or as you said, these challenges of moving out of your comfort zone. So, what would you advise boys and girls who are looking at marketing and sales as a career, especially sale? Because selling is the most important business skill, the most important personal skill. And unfortunately, in fact, one of the objective of this particular Sales Mastery podcast is also tell people look at sales as a jaundiced manner. Ah, a salesman hai yaar, ye to. But they don't realize that without sales, there is no revenue, no income, no business. So, and salesmen are the most respected among all the people in the organization. And I also tell them, in this age of pink slips, a profitable sales commando will be the last person ever to be let go. And he's the most prestigious commodity or asset that any organization can possess. Your comments, sir, because you are one like that.
Absolutely. See, I would say one thing: sales is the easiest and the toughest job. Why
Yes,
it is the easiest job? Your results are easily measured by numbers.
very true.
So that way you know where you're standing. And why it is the toughest job? Because as your success is shown, your failures are also shown. But if you use every failure that you come across as an opportunity, and you've learned something from it, and you've gained some knowledge, certainly over a period of time you will succeed. But as long as you're following the patterns, I mean, you have the right kind of attitude, you're growing in your skill, you're learning from every failure of yours, and you have a right approach. I think any salesperson can succeed. But only the thing is, as a salesperson, one thing that you cannot lose is your confidence. If you lose your confidence, then you just cannot succeed.
No, very well said. Very well said. In
Yeah,
fact, for Manoj, I always talk about 4 C's: commitment, courage, confidence, and capability.
yeah,
The four are interlinked, and out of there, of course, all these confidence is important. But the thing which in my opinion, in my own experience and research has shown that courage to take action. And because when you take action, as you rightly said, when you succeed, your confidence goes up. And when you keep on increasing that action process, and your confidence keeps on going up, you'll be able to take higher commitments and increase your capability, and thereby you are able to be on the success loop. So
absolutely, yes,
these,
absolutely,
these
yes.
these 4 things I now constantly keep on harping in my every training program: commitment, courage, confidence, and capability. The 4 C's interlinked, but it all starts with you taking action. And as you said, don't get stopped by any adversary, any failure, any rejection, or any challenges or temporary setbacks. Every time you are bounced down, you bounce higher up. The harder you fall, the higher you rise. And if you are able
Absolutely.
to have that type of a mindset, and you are willing to learn, keep your minds open, and be objective and observant, then I think this is the most brilliant career which you can have. So sub, we have almost had 1 hour conversation. It felt as if
Yes,
talking for last 5 minutes. The time is 5:56. So
yeah,
it's about the time to summarize whatever we have learned. But
absolutely.
a really very enriching conversation, and I'm sure all the young boys and girls and young entrepreneurs who view this in our YouTube channel and this 32nd episode, I'm sure they will be able to really take back those nuggets of wisdom which my friend Mr. Manoj Kumar has shared about his last 25 to 30 years of experience as a person who has risen from a senior sales executive to become a global marketing head of one of the most dynamic companies in India, one of the most important Indian multinational companies. So, in summation, Manoj Kumarji, what would you like to give as an advice or a parting advice to all the young entrepreneurs and also the youngsters who are watching this who would be wanting to get into the career of sales?
Yeah, I would only say, you need to have the right attitude and the willingness to learn, and especially willingness to learn from failures, and have the courage to move forward, and success will surely follow you, for sure. And I would also like to thank for giving me this opportunity, Dr. Arunaagiri. It has been a pleasure. Last 1 hour was like a 25 years rewind. It was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Manoj Kumar ji. Thank you for sparing out your valuable time and
Yeah.
being a part of this sales podcast or a chat show, which we have been doing for the last 3 years. And we have had some dynamic people like you coming and sharing their experience and expertise, which I've strongly want youngsters to listen to, take notes, and then put them into practice so that we can create more Manoj Kumars in this world and then take India globally and
Absolutely.
make organization profitable, make
Yeah.
organization grow, make
Yeah.
the organization have a healthy cash flow. So thank you very much, Manoj Kumar ji. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you. Thank
having
you.
you for this chat show, and all the viewers who are watching it right now live on the Facebook, or there are some dynamic people in the Zoom platform also. Thank you very much for watching this. And those who watch subsequently in our YouTube, please take notes and put them into your practice, and thereby ensure that you're able to have a 10x growth in your personal and professional life. Thank you and God bless.